Hi, Sarah Childress back with you. I just saw the new film Close, and I was honestly, I was completely annihilated by it. And I wanted to take the opportunity to kind of think through my emotional response to it, my feelings about it, as a way to understand how the film is working, but also to share that with you, if you've seen the film, as a way perhaps to help you think through your own feelings about it, or for those of you who haven't yet seen the film, as an invitation and an inspiration to see this film, because it is an awesome film. And in fact, awe is how I kind of want to get into the film, because I feel like that was what prompted my emotional response to it. And because if we think about awe and how awe is defined, awe really occurs when we encounter mysteries, experiences that are really beyond our understanding. And in that confrontation, awe takes us outside of ourselves, and awe also destabilizes us, which is why sometimes we can have these really powerful emotional responses to things that we find awesome, because we just can't process the experience through the lens of our understanding. It just completely breaks everything down. And I feel like that's what Close is doing. It is an awesome film that is awe-inspiring, and also I feel awe-inspired because it's so very respectful of its subjects, and also really intent on doing and sharing something really profound. Now, if I were to share just a synopsis of the film, it might be something like, this is a prepubescent boy's initiation into masculinity. I mean, it is that, but it's also so much more. I mean, it's kind of like saying the Grand Canyon is a hole in the ground. I mean, the summary just doesn't really at all do it justice. And so Close really begins as a profound portrait of friendship. I mean, these are two boys who are as close as brothers, but I would even argue probably love each other even more than brothers do. I mean, they sleep over almost every night. They share parents, food, conversation, emotional support, and beds. And Léo and Rémi are there for each other really in the most intimate and pure and beautiful way you could possibly imagine. I mean, they really do flow into one another. There is no separation between them. But then they start school. They enter a new level, and they share a class. And once that happens within that context, very quickly, the other students start to question their relationship. The girls ask if they're a couple, and the boys, let's just say, frame their questions a little more crudely. Now, Rémi seems able to ignore them, but Léo can't. I mean, he's constantly, and you'll see this all throughout the film, he's such a watchful young man. He's constantly on the lookout for what others are thinking, how they're responding. And he calibrates his behavior and his responses to what he's intuiting. And in this new context, he begins to perform a kind of alpha male masculinity as he begins to create spatial and emotional distance between him and Rémi. Now, there's a key scene that happens within the schoolyard. So Léo and Rémi, who both suffer from insomnia, they lie down to kind of nap beside one another on the ground. Now, Rémi changes position to lay his head on Léo's stomach, and in response, Léo rolls away. Now, Rémi, completely unfazed, moves to again lay his head on Léo. But Léo then rolls away again and offers an excuse, saying something like it's too hot. And this distance and this consistent creation of distance then prompts Rémi to start thinking about what's happening. And that is the beginning of ends. So yes, end, plural, ends. And it's also the beginning of a new and devastating era. Because while the first half of the film deals mostly in the positive implications of awe or inspirations of awe, things like beauty and purity, innocence, love, The second half of the film deals with another awe inspiration, which is terror. And this terror is really spurred by an unthinkable act. And that act moves the two boys outside of themselves as they come face to face, albeit in different ways, with perhaps the biggest mystery of life. And since from the very beginning of the film, the narration lies with Léo. And in the second half, we remain with him, and we're with him as he grapples with a kind of awe that happens when, or that produces, the inability to make sense of reality. And we see Léo being forced to create a new understanding of the world and a new way of inhabiting the world. And unfortunately, he is able to do this, but is only able to do it within a great amount or a great degree of suffering. And so I was truly a sobbing mess after the film. And not just because it's a sad film, and it is a sad film, but it's more than that, because the sadness isn't the point. I mean, I feel like I was a sobbing mess because the film helped me to understand something incredibly profound. And that profound understanding broke my heart. It really did. I mean, in fact, I was kind of even weeping a little bit, like getting misty as I was thinking about the film still, and I saw it a couple days ago. It broke my heart because I was thinking about all the boys who love one another, but who are socialized into believing that this love is bad or dirty. I mean, my heart also broke for all the boys who abandon who they are and who they love to remake themselves into an empty idea, this kind of empty idea of what it means to be masculine, what it means to be a man, that's kind of codified and made conventions by like social constructions that are then policed by others outside of the individual and outside of those who are in relation with one another. And my heart broke also for all the boys who are abandoned by those they love and who feel completely alone and lost as a result. And finally, my heart broke for all the men who have had to go through this process. I mean, thinking about the pain of it, the pain that they've experienced and the loss that they've experienced and all the horrible waste of that loss and of having to go through that process. And so for those of you who, like me, have seen and loved and cried at Aftersun and cried for Calum, please, if you haven't already, please see close and cry for Léo and Rémi, because they are connected and they are connected with Calum. And I think you'll understand Calum when you see and experience what Léo and Rémi have gone through. I'm dying to know what you think. Please share your comments. I'll see you next time.